Hello everyone. I welcome you to another episode of ADTU Unplugged, a series of podcasts from MIT-ADTU. Today, we will be discussing about the field of psychology and what the program here at MIT SVS looks like. To make it more real and not just brochure talk, we have one of our professors, Ms. Aishwarya Menon ma'am, along with us. So let's get into it. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
So I'll get straight into the questions that we have.
Yeah.
So the first question I have for you is, what is the scope and why should one opt for this subject?
Hi. First of all, thank you for having me.
Yes.
So scope of psychology is actually very broad because psychology has to do with human behavior, right? So wherever we have humans, we can use psychology.
Right.
So in broadly speaking, we have like the typical fields are like clinical psychology, industrial psychology, so where we would look at people working in organizations. Clinical is typically what we traditionally know as psychology, right? Like working with people who have mental illnesses and such. But beyond that, now psychology is everywhere. So if let's say we are talking about humans in sports, right? So we're looking at sports psychology. If we're looking at people dealing with chronic illness, we are looking at health psychology. If we are looking at people's behavior with the environment, that's environmental psychology. So there are a lot of different fields that have come up now. People might be also aware of forensic psychology as well. You know, that those are like kind of like emerging trends, you know, so there's cyber psychology as well because of information technology that's come up. So there's just so much scope. There is so many areas that we can work with in psychology. So that's pretty much it. And especially in our country, in India, we have a big need, you know, a demand actually for psychology because there's so many different issues that have come up, and our population is a lot, but our psychologists are not there yet. So there is a whole void that is there, you know, in terms of filling in, and we need a lot of different psychologists, a lot of professionals in this field. So that's the field. Yeah.
Okay, that was very informative. So could you address about the general overview of the curriculum for the BSc Honours program at MIT SVS?
Okay.
And how is the NEP integrated into this curriculum?
Okay. So at School of Vedic Sciences, we have been running the BSc Integral Psychology program, which was the 3-year program from 2017. But since the NEP was introduced, the National Education Policy, we have started the 4-year program from 2023. So I will explain a little bit like a generic overview of what the subject looks like. So in our curriculum, we are focusing on all of the broad areas of psychology, right? So we are looking at everything that's foundational. So that would be general psychology, social psychology, abnormal psychology, industrial, developmental, personality theories, everything. And beyond that, we also have electives, so discipline-specific electives. So those are health psychology, environmental. We also have clinical psychology, positive psychology, all of these specializations, as you would say. So everyone kind of gets a taste of everything. But beyond that, so our curriculum, because of the National Education Policy as well, is very comprehensive. So we don't just focus on the theory and the core subjects. We also are looking at skill development, right? So we have practical courses all across the semester. So right from the first year, students are having hands-on practice. So they are actually working with participants. They are actually getting testing done, psychological testing done, and they are learning how to write reports, how to talk, you know, how to get information from the participants. So all of this makes them very like ready, industry ready. And apart from these skill oriented courses, we also have certain like, so we have a School of Holistic Development, right? So this looks at like holistic development of the student. So what does that look like? That is everything ranging from physical development, which is covered in health practices, to English communication classes, or for that matter, cultural and performing arts. Okay, so they learn to with instruments or maybe a dance form, and also foreign languages. So what happens is through these kind of subjects, students are not just developing the theory specific knowledge, but also entire development, right? Like communication skills, soft skills, all of that. And beyond this, we also have certain subjects that the NEP also mandates, but that's also very, like, it's, I would say, maybe the USP of our course, which is IKS, right? So Indian knowledge studies that are there. We incorporate that actually on all levels. So we don't just have like the mandatory 2 or 4 credit courses, we have it every semester 2 credits because we are the School of Vedic Sciences, right? So we are looking at psychology from the Indian perspective across every single year. So our students have sort of like an advantage with that. So we have that. We also have a modern Indian language. So Marathi is also taught to the students. This is typically what it is. And then, of course, we also have subjects like community engagement, observerships, internships, research projects. So this makes like experiential learning. They really have to work in the field as well. So that's typically like a very, very brief overview of the subjects. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it is very interesting from what you're saying so far. Well, the next question I have for you is, what all advantages does the 4th year of honors program offer to the students?
Okay, so the 4th year, which is a major shift from the 3-year program that we had earlier. So the 4th year gives the students a little bit of an opportunity to decide if they want to do an honors with research or with a supervised internship. So what happens is that students can kind of decide based on their aptitude. There are some students who struggle a little bit with like a bachelor's level thesis. So if someone is interested in like, let's say, maybe doing a PhD, they know they want to get into research, then they can opt for an honors with research. And the NEP also allows that they don't even have to do a master's. If they have like a merit, they can directly take admission in a PhD right after 4 years. So that's one advantage. One other advantage that we also see is that a lot of courses or universities abroad look at 4 years program for their master's admission. So it opens other avenues for admissions, even like, let's say, if they want to go abroad. So those are this, and because of the way the structure is, they are also very professionally ready by the 4th year itself. So it kind of gives them a little bit more, and also because we have a multidisciplinary education as well. So there's, because of 4 years, we have the scope of adding another discipline into it. So out here, we also have options for, let's say, management, education, drama, these kind of courses where students not only learn psychology, but they're also getting a minor degree in another subject. So it kind of makes them a little bit more prepared for, working in an interdisciplinary field.
Yes. Well, this is the question for you. What career opportunities can students expect by the end of this course?
So typically in psychology, we do have to have like a specialized master's, but because the BSc honors program is so skill oriented, there will definitely be avenues open right after their bachelor's if they want to first have a little bit of experience professionally. But I do have to say that it may not be like a psychologist. We still have mandates for this. We need to have a master's or an MPhil or a PhD, but you can definitely work with with a psychologist or with a professional in these fields. And like I said before, one of the major advantages is being able to do a PhD right off this. And a PhD is also another place where they can earn if they want to. So these are typically what I would say as the field. But if they do want to work in a very specialized list, they will have to do a master's. Right.
Well, that was it for this session of ADTU Unplugged. And this was a very informative session, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you for your insights.
Yeah.
And I hope the students get to make their decisions well and better.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.